Hello, sir. My name is Umesh Kapale, and our college name is SKN Institute of Technology and Science, Lonavala, and our project topic name is Smart Surveillance System. And this is our group member Vishal, Ahirrao, Manoj, Pawar, myself Umesh Kapale, and Machindra, and the guide name of Mr. SB Kotari, sir. This is the introduction of our project. Raspberry Pi can be used to implement a security system with the motion detection and image processing alert mechanism. The sensor will detect the sense to the send the image uh, to the Raspberry Pi through the Gmail, and this user monitor the system from anywhere in the world. This system captures the image and send to the admin through Gmail. Motivation. Raspberry Pi can use to implement a security system with the motion detection, image processing, and alert mechanism. Implement controlling the Raspberry Pi from the Adron firm is used to the anywhere, and cellular system as the position of the camera can be updated by the user and capture the image as per the sensor detected. The need of our project is the need is main need is a cost effective, and the project will design implement a security system based on the Raspberry Pi through the microcomputer, and reduce the cost. The system should be able to detect the motion and then send the alert to the facility owner through the mail. And this system prevent the crimes for happening and can quickly solve the problem. Objective. The main aim of the project is designed to develop a security system that include the features such as motion detection, image processing, and email or SMS to the facility owner. To study how the Raspberry Pi can be interfaced with the motion detector and Pi camera. To study how to Raspberry Pi can be programmed so as able to send an email to the prescribed mailer. This is a problem statement. This project will design to implement a security system based on the Raspberry Pi microcomputer. This system should be able to detect the motion, activate a camera, take frames of video after motion is sensed, and then send an alert the facility owner through the electronics mail plus an image attachment. To design and implement a motion detection and tracking system for real time. Scope of a project.
My name is Vishal. Now I'm going to explain scope of the project. This is a project of focusing on developing the smart surveillance system to detect and motion and response speedily to capture image and replying to administrator. This system in this system use a Raspberry Pi model, motion detection and sensors, cameras and internet connection. This system can be monitoring by the users anywhere in the world. Next. This is the literature survey. We refer to six prefer technology. User interface we use a Raspberry UI. For backend we use a Python, and for storing information we use a local server. Next, hardware and software requirement we use a Raspberry Pi board, Pi sensor, motion sensor, Pi camera module, and SD card, USB keyboard, Ethernet cables, and display. And Raspberry for software we use a Raspberry OS and Python language and Putty software. Next.
Myself Manoj, I will be explaining the system architecture of our project. First of all, our system is completely based on Raspberry Pi. So Raspberry Pi will be connected through internet. So through internet, and we will be connecting two modules to the Raspberry Pi. First one is the camera module, and second one is the motion sensor module. So it will be working in this way. When the motion is detected by the PIR motion sensor, it will be triggering the Raspberry Pi system. After that, it will be activating the camera. After camera is activated, it will capture the image and it will be stored into the Raspberry Pi on the SD card. And through SD card, it will be sending through internet to the user email, and user will be receiving an email on a mobile or laptop to include the image. Next. So this is the module description for modules. First one is the Raspberry Pi. So for this we will be using the Raspbian OS, which is an open source OS, so we can download it from the internet. So for this we will be using some commands so that we update the OS to the latest version, and for configuring these commands are used. This is the Pi camera module. For this, we will be configuring the Pi camera module. For this, we will be importing some of the libraries which are inbuilt libraries of the Python language. So it will be for that we will be installing the Python camera module, the Python 3 camera module, and this will also be configuring by the command mentioned here, sudo raspberry config. This is the Gmail module. After setting setup of the Pi camera module, we will be installing software for sending the email. So there, for this, we will be setting up the SMTP model. This is a simple mail transfer protocol. For this, we will be using some commands so that the software will be installed on a local disk which is available as SD card. And after that, we will be importing the libraries. And for that, after importing the libraries, we will be defining the module for same, like the user email from which the email should be sent, and the receiver email, and all the other things which are required in that subject. So this is the PIR sensor module. So after setting the setup of all these things, we will be setting up the sensor PIR sensor using the GPO pins which are available on the Raspberry Pi. So we will be setting the GPO pins in this way. One will be an output pin and one will be an input pin, and there will be an uh, voltage power supply given through that through the pins only. This is the component description. So what is Raspberry Pi? Raspberry Pi is actually a simple computer, only computer board which has been which has been made by uh, connecting small modules. This can be this we can term as a mini personal computer also. What is camera module? Camera module is a camera only short version of the camera which has been developed directly through the lens and all the other uh, required ribbons. Sensor, it is an infrared sensor, which is an electronic sensor which measures the temperature and IR, infrared light object, coming from our body so that it can be catched by detection. Okay, that's all from my side.
This is the flowchart of generating and sending email. Main is the start and initialize the Raspberry Pi and sensor, and then after the initialization of Pi camera, and then after the read the sensor value, if sensor value is high, then then is return to the sensor value. Then sensor value is low. It is send an alert message and send to the email to the user. And then after the monitor the commands coming from the user, and the last the turn off the sensor and application according user. A user is
ER diagram. No, so Raspberry Pi is connected to the PIR module, PI camera module and PIR motion sensor, and the Raspberry Pi is also connected to the our SD card, that is the data storage, and that Raspberry Pi share this is in mobile through the connection into the laptop to the users using Gmail ID. In this diagram, we have some PI camera. This is the sense data to the client and continuously collected the visual data. And this is also stored to the PI motion sensor. Is sense detect the motions and send this is signals to the signals to the PI. And Raspberry Pi is sense images, sends that images to the Gmail user. That's one. And Gmail is received for the introduce the image. Here we also do one class diagram. Here if PI camera and PI motion sensor is also connected to the Raspberry Pi, and a Raspberry Pi is get the images from the PI motion sensor and sends to the drawbacks, that is the data where is the storage. The applications, the application implementation of projects, that one is jewelry shops, army surveillance, bank securities, and home securities. Advantages, so this is the reducing the loss and thefts, easier installation is easy, and distributed intelligence and improved productivity. Disadvantages is privacy and issues, and it can be costly affairs. This is our snapshot that gets the user after the snapshot PI camera is collected data. Conclusion: the project design and implementation implemented is a security based system on the Raspberry Pi. The aspects of the systems are motion detection using PIS sensors, video capturing using Pi camera, and sending out to the alert through email. It did not, however, achieve the options how image processing in the Raspberry Pi because of system constraints. That is Professor Spitz. This one is our references that we take. If you have any question, then ask us. Thank you.